when I saw this article, I had to share it with you because this is something that I've been railing against for I don't know how long. This whole idea that classical music, or you can throw music theory in there, music in general, is built on white supremacy is total garbage. It's BS. And this is an article by Norman Lebrecht, Lebrecht. It's from SlippedDisc.com. Now, Slipped Disc is the Rolling Stone magazine, if you will, of the classical music world. And this is an article that came out August 9th, so this month. Title of the article, White Composers Are More Neglected Than Black. And he discusses Heather McDonald's survey on the current woke movement in the classical music scene today, how there's this push to have more non-white composers versus white composers in the concert hall as though it were a competition. So Heather McDonald says this: perhaps 98% of all composers in the classical tradition are not listened to or even recognized today. These forgotten artists were almost all white males, and it is the sad fate of most composers to recede into obscurity, if they were even lucky enough to have had their music performed during their lifetime. To charge history with racism for having allowed black composers as well to have fallen into obscurity requires proof of overwhelming merit strong enough to overcome the usual oblivion meted out to everyone else. That high burden of proof is not always met. The composers enjoying the greatest prominence at the moment are Joseph Bologna, Chevalier de Saint-Georges, 1745 to 1799, and Florence Price, 1887 to 1953. The hyperbole surrounding their works is astonishing. Bologna is commonly referred to today as the Black Mozart. That comparison is laughable enough in its own right, and Bologna is fluent in the classical style with a pleasing capacity for forward momentum. His works are recognizable on the radio for their simple construction, yet they possess none of the melodic gift and emotional depths that have led the world's greatest composers to bow down before Mozart in dazed and loving gratitude. Now, this is where I split ways with the article and Heather McDonald, because honestly, I don't think that Mozart was the greatest composer that ever lived. Am I saying that because I'm anti-Mozart? No. But I think all composers have something to bring to the table. Each composer is unique. Yes, Mozart was very talented, but I don't think he was the greatest composer that ever lived. And there is a lot of, how shall we say, urban legend surrounding the life of Mozart. And to this day, you still have the controversy over the Herschel catalog, because after Mozart's death, all these works started appearing with Mozart's name on, which some believe may have not been written by Mozart. So you have composers that were editing his works, revising some of his lesser-known pieces, making arrangements of, for example, his piano concertos. So I don't think Mozart, as I said, was the greatest composer to ever live. I think a lot of his life was built on urban legend. Yes, he was talented, but so was Beethoven, and so were a lot of these lesser-known composers, which is one of the main focuses of the channel here. By the way, this is the Culture Confederacy. Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday. No, it's Wednesday. I'm losing track of my days here. It is Wednesday. It's been a busy weekend. I do the overnights on the weekend, and Monday and Tuesday at work, and have a few days towards the end of the week before, well, my weekend, to work on these YouTube videos or what have you. So getting back to the article, by the way, you like the video of the series, please click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at hashtag Jason Composes, leave comments below, and now you can reach me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy at Twitter. So, as I was saying, I don't agree with this whole concept that Mozart was the greatest composer that ever lived. And I think a lot of people at the time were thinking that, not knowing that these controversies were going on regarding the Mozart catalog or Herschel catalog. Article goes on to say this: the biggest victim in the racial attack on classical music is the music itself. Once the poison of identity politics is injected into a field, it can never recover its prelapsarian innocence. Every time an industry insider or critic disparages our greatest for being too white and too male, he gives neophytes, especially young people, another reason to close their ears to this legacy. And just a little side note here. During the time of the aristocracy, 16th, 17th, 18th century, Musicians and composers were seen on the same level as the kitchen staff in the palace. Then if you go towards the latter part of the 19th century, you have Balakirev, who headed up the Mighty Five in Russia, who died in poverty. And I've mentioned this before. It is a luck of the draw if you are going to make it as a composer. Life happens. The old saying goes, you don't want to starve like Mozart. At a Peabody Institute conference in February 2021, the League of American Orchestra's Simon Woods voiced his dread at seeing the quote-unquote whiteness on stage and in the audience once concerts resumed. This is professional malpractice. The irrelevant lens of race will drive desperately needed new audiences out of, not into, the concert hall. And rediscovering black contributions to classical music is particularly meaningful. But the stated rationale for this resuscitation destroys its value. By the way, I'm just reading excerpts from the article. It's a pretty lengthy article. So if you go to slipdisc.com, you'll see this title, once again, title of the article, White Composers Are More Neglected Than Black by Norman Lebrecht. And they will, down at the bottom of the page, there's about 3 or 4 paragraphs down at the bottom of the page, they'll have a link you can click on that will bring you to the actual article that goes a little more in-depth into this. So once again, I'm just reading excerpts from the piece for the sake of time. But the Black Mozart label is insufficiently hagiographic. That's Hagiographic. I hope I'm pronouncing that word correctly. It is Mozart who should be called the quote-unquote white chevalier, says Bill Barclay, playwright-composer. This is preposterous. If Bologna were white, his oeuvre would remain marginal. Other contemporaries of Mozart, such as Antonio Rossetti, Joseph Martin Krauss, and Joseph Myslivacek, deserve revival before Bologna. It was not Bologna's mixed race status that consigned him to the same fate as nearly all his white colleagues, but his banality. So once again, making it as a composer is a luck of the draw. There is no guarantee that you're going to have a hit on the radio today. It takes a lot of money to get a musical project or even a record off the ground. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at hashtag JasonComposes, leave comments below, and now you can reach me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy at Twitter. This is the Culture Confederacy saying, peace out, stay safe, everybody, and God bless. This is a great country. You all have a great week. I'll catch you next time.